your life is giving you, and we explored the topic in depth. And today we'll be concluding that topic with another rider. This time we are going to be looking at how to utilize life's feedback to improve your game and then to enhance your results. How do you utilize the feedback that life gives you to improve your game and then to enhance your result as a person, as a professional, as a student, as an entrepreneur, whatever calling you have as a person. And a quick recap of the previous sessions we've had on Thrive. This is just to run us through the previous sessions, as I always do. We started with, I think in 2016, with self-identity and definition. After that, we looked at purpose. After purpose, we consider a three-step leap that will get you from where you are to where you ought to be. And then we also discussed the missing link. What is the missing link when you've done all you're supposed to do and then you're still not getting the kind of result that you desire? What could be missing? And then we looked at strategic positioning for success. How do you strategically position yourself for success? We also discussed a topic on how to become a valuable person. We also looked at becoming and unbecoming, the dynamics that people in our lives, how the interplay of relationships help us to become or make us to unbecome who we should be or who we presently are, to become something else. And then we also looked at how to write attention-grabbing reports. We've discussed how to conceive, how to build and sustain a sustainable entity. Anything that you want to, be it a business, be it an enterprise or a mission, a career, any structure that you want to build. We looked at, okay, what are the things you have to do? How do you conceive the vision, conceive the idea? How do you build and how do you make it sustainable? And then we looked at how to turn setbacks to success. I think that's from last year. That's the first topic we looked at last year, how to turn setbacks into success. Then we looked at one thing that you need to do to become great. That's the achieving greatness. What is the one thing you need to do if you must become great in life? And then after that, we did a 3-session series on destiny. After that, we looked at how do you transmute from values to greatness? How do you turn your values, your personal values, to success? Mary, can you mute that person? So, and then we look at, okay, so how do you turn your personal values to success? I know that was a very interactive session because all of us had to discuss our values at some point, and then we now also look at, okay, how can we turn such values into a life of greatness? And then we discussed how to create something out of nothing and make one to become plenty. We looked at that in 2 parts, how to create something out of nothing and how to make one to become plenty. Then after that, we consider the dynamics of calling. Many people say they are called. How do you even know someone that is called? How do you know what you yourself are called to do? And what do you do with your calling? And then the last outing in March, we discussed how to design and utilize feedback. the feedback that life is giving you, how do you design it? How do you utilize it? And so that's what we discussed last time. And today we are going to conclude that session. We're going to conclude that feedback series. And then to give us another background, at least for those who are joining us for the first time, or those who are not so familiar with our structure and Thrive, I mean, the Bible is usually our reference literature for some of the, if we have to provide any reference at all, we usually refer to the Bible mostly. But as I said, we don't reference the Bible as a religious treatise, but as a literature of references, of scenarios, of life issues and things that have happened to others, and so that we can also relate those to our own contemporary experiences. So we look at the Bible as a literature, not as a religious treatise. And why do we do that? Because it's enduring. It's arguably the oldest literature around, is the oldest literature you can find in terms of preservation. It's been with us for antiquities for thousands of years. And then because those lessons there are also universally applicable, yeah, even as it happened to them in those thousands of years ago, we in this age can still relate to some of those lessons that it teaches. And then we can also, the scenarios, the experiences, the incidents that happen are things that we can also relate to, as the case may be. And I say, it's not so easy to use somebody's example to talk to others, because you could be sued for defamation. So we just try to play safe by using a reference, so that we can, I think Bible being Bible and one of the scriptures around is a good source for us to use. And then, also to recap the last session that we had, talking about how to design and utilize feedback. We talked about the sources of feedback. Where do you get feedback from? As a person, talked about, okay, feedback can be internal, can be external. Coming to you, and how do you know that what you're even saying, what you are getting is a feedback? Those are the things we considered last week. We talked about, pain and joy, pleasure and pleasure and pain. When you hit failure or success, the different ends of life experiences and how you can actually design the feedback that life is hinting at you from those experiences. And then we also discuss the uses of feedback. How do you use feedback? How do you use it? And then we also ask the question for audience discussion that, does life give you feedback? Does life give anyone feedback? And yes, we say yes, life usually does gives us feedback, but it's for us to even identify that this is a feedback, and then to now do something with it. And then we considered what are the examples of life's feedback. How do we know that this is a feedback that life is giving us? And then we also consider, okay, maybe what you are getting, is it really a feedback? Can you test it? Is it a test, or is it actually a feedback? Because some feedback will come to us as a test, and then we assume that, that means I shouldn't do this, and then you don't do it. Or that means I should do it, and then you not do it. Whereas this is just to test your resolve, to test your strength, to test your character. And then we concluded that session with how to identify life's feedback. And then today we'll just be continuing in that strength by discussing how to use life's feedback to improve your game and to enhance your results. And feedback, as we all know, usually comes to us in three major forms. Is either it's coming as indifferent, it's coming as positive, or it's coming as negative. Feedback comes to us usually in these three major forms. It can be indifferent or neutral, it can be positive, and it can be negative. And when you have a neutral feedback, as we all know, or indifferent, what do you do when the feedback you are getting is indifferent, doesn't tell you, that doesn't portray there's interest or there's no interest? In that regard, what you need to do is to try harder, If you, let's assume, look, for instance, I want to apply for scholarship at a university, and I sent a mail to them, and my mail was not acknowledged. I didn't get any reply that, okay, I will get the scholarship or I won't get the scholarship. That's an indifferent feedback. That's an indifferent feedback. So what you need to do, that means you need to try harder. You need to send additional mails, or you need to try and reach out to whoever you can reach out to at least get a green light or get a definite response that will either be yes or a no. So when you are attempting to do something, you are aspiring to build, a career in a particular field, and your attempts is not yielding any result. Mind you, not yielding result is not yielding negative result. There are times what you just get is negative. It's a no. Or if you are not seeing any sign that what you are doing or what you have undertaken is being considered or is being rated, that means you are getting an indifferent or a neutral feedback. And what you do with that kind of feedback is you have to try harder. Another thing to do is to do more. You need to do more. If your life is giving you, if you are getting feedback from a source and it's indifferent, there's no indication that your effort is being seen or is being considered or is being treated, then that means you need to do more. You need to do more. Another thing you can also do is to try something else. Try something else. Try and see maybe approaching this from another perspective. Okay, you can go somewhere else. You can explore your interest in another place. Another strategy you can also deploy is to try it another way. Try another way or source another avenue rather than just fixating on a particular route and say, okay, it must be from this source that will get this feedback from, that will get this successful, that will get this breakthrough, this stuff from. No, you can try another way. Try another. If you've been trying to apply to go to the United States of America, you're not getting any green light. Try United Kingdom. Try United Arab Emirates. Try United any country. Try South Africa. Try Belgium. You understand? So you don't have to fixate on a particular place. So try another way, try another venue to explore the kind of success that you want or the kind of results that you need. And another thing you can do is to move on. If you've tried another way, you've tried harder, you've done more, you've tried something else, you approach it from another perspective, and then you are still not getting the kind of feedback you want, you should move on. Don't now continue to dissipate energy, resources, and time on they say you don't flog a sleeping horse or you don't flog a dead horse, sorry. So don't try to dissipate energy on a cause that is not yielding anything to you. Because by the time you now realize, maybe too late. So if you are getting a neutral feedback, an indifferent feedback from life, from an endeavor, or from pursuit, you should try harder to see how you could get a feedback, either yes or no. If you're trying harder and you can do more. If you have improve your number, up your number. If you are doing two, try and see if you can do four. If you have been sending to applications, send four, send six, send eight, and try something else. Look at it from another approach. Have you been writing your stuff this way, your application this way? Maybe you should consider also writing it from another perspective. Maybe you do a proposal or a profile of yourself instead of just doing a resume. Try something else. Try something else. Be creative. Don't be boxed up in one particular formula. No, this must be the formula that will work. No, you have to be creative. You have to be ingenious in terms of trying to get the result you want from life. And then you can try another way, go in another direction. Don't always that it must be from south that will get this result from. No, if the result is not coming from south, try north. If it's not coming from east, try west. So be open-minded. Don't be a fixated person that no, it must be this and this alone. And then if after you've done all you're supposed to do, you feel like you're still getting is neutral. Nobody's looking at you, nobody's attending to you, then you've got to move on. Move on to something else. Move on and get something else doing. That's how you deal with neutral feedback. And for positive feedback, when the feedback that you have gotten from a particular endeavor, a particular pursuit, or what you are exploring is positive, that is saying that you need to repeat it. You want to improve your game, you want to enhance your results based on the feedback you are getting, then you should repeat it. It should lead to repetition. It should lead to repetition. What you are doing, that you are getting review, positive comment, positive feedback, positive encouragement from, you should repeat it. You should repeat it. And after repeating it, and you have been good, if you have been doing 10 and you are not doing 20, you should also spread it, increase it. Don't now, okay, because this is where I've been doing it, then I must continue to look for ways to spread your virtue, to spread your strength, to spread your resources, spread it or increase it. Increase it, cover more scope. If you've been doing it to the west, also consider doing it to the east as well. Spread it, spread that good, spread that strength, spread that virtue, spread that positiveness that you are getting. Don't just box it to one corner and say, okay, because this is where I get the best result, then this is where I'm going to always do it. No, spread it. And if you spread it and the other part is not really appreciating it, then you can consider either the feedback you are getting, the formula we are using for the neutral or negative. Okay, I'm doing this thing in the West, and the West is applauding it. I'm doing it in the East. East is not even looking as if I'm doing anything there. So that means I'm getting a neutral feedback. Then you look at those things that you need to do. That means I need to try harder, I need to do more, I need to be creative, I need to be very creative and ingenious. I need to do things to make East also appreciate what I'm doing. Spread it. Spread what you're doing, spread the virtue, spread the strength, spread the positivity. And as you are spreading it, also scale it, make it higher, grow it, grow that thing that life is giving you positive feedback on. It may not even be live, it may be from your office, from the organization you work, from your industry where you play, from your community where you serve or whatever you are doing. Spread it. If you are watching a game of football and somebody scores, a team scores, everybody rejoices. It's a goal. The player himself rejoices, his teammates rejoice with him. His teammates rejoice with him. These fans, the supporters also rejoice. That is sharing that kind of player, that team to go and score more goals. So the fact that they scored one doesn't mean that they will not say, yes, that's the end. That cheer you get from yourself, from your mates, from your supporters, is the cheer that, okay, let's go for more goals. So you have to grow it. You have to grow what you do. You have to grow that one, that positiveness where you are getting good results. Grow it, grow it. And then as you grow it, you can institutionalize it. You can make it an institution, make it an institution. You can make it a business, you can make it a non-profit, you can make it a ministry, you can make it something that would last, because once you now institutionalize something, you make it to be a system. You give it a life of its own. And that's why, just looking at, an example of maybe a football game, somebody is good, is playing well, maybe started on the streets, and all that, and scores goals and all that, or is able to save goals from being scored as a keeper. And people are cheering, oh, great, he made that same, people cheer, people clapped. As he does it, he starts to look for a team to play for. A team, a football club is an institution. So it's either you are starting your own institution or you are joining one. You are now trading that area of your strength, that area of your quality. You are now aligning it to an institution that favors that kind of strength. You are pitching your tent with them. You are becoming a member of the institution. And that way, even though you are very good as a goalkeeper, you are very good as a midfielder, as a goal scorer, because you have now submitted your strengths, your positive quality to them. They now see you as part of that institution. So that way you have joined your own strengths, your own quality to others, and that way you guys have become an institution. So they will say, that club is maybe Arsenal Football Club. And when they say Arsenal Football Club, they are not referring to one person, they're referring to all the different qualities, the different strengths that make Arsenal Football Club. So that is how you institutionalize your positive feedback. When you are getting it and you are seeing, yes, you are seeing results, you should institutionalize it. Make it an institution. Make it something so that you make it an institution or you join an institution with it. An institution that favors that kind of strength, that favors that kind of quality that you have, that is giving you positive feedback from life. That is how what you do with a positive feedback. And if the feedback is negative, hey, if you see the negative feedback, last time we discussed test and actual feedback. How do you even identify which one is test? Some feedbacks are just testing you, even if they come positive. The fact that you get rave doesn't mean that you should continue doing it. That's the so we have to balance it. That's one of the things we established at the last session. The fact that you took ice cream. I mean, you took ice cream, and ice cream is very sweet to your taste bud. Doesn't mean that you should now gulp down a whole bowl of ice cream. Your taste bud loves the taste. That's a positive one, but it's a test feedback. It doesn't mean that you should not bring the whole bowl. Hey, that's stupid. So you have to be able to know this kind of feedback. Yes, it's positive, but is it a test, is it a test feedback? Or is it a negative? I mean, is it an actual one? So if you are getting a negative feedback, hey, saying that stop it, stupid, stop it. Stop means stop. Imagine, when we're all young, there's this belief when we're young that, when a child wants to go and play around fire, you don't tell a child not to go and play with fire. It's the fire itself that will tell the baby not to come near it again. And you see a fire burning and you go to dip your hand in the fire, we burn you to sear your fingers. So that is saying, stop it. Next time you see fire, you won't go near it, because fire on its own has already given you a feedback. Say, don't come near me unless you are wearing protective gears. That is the feedback that fire has just given you. So you have to know if the feedback you are getting, if it's negative, it's either it's telling you, hey, stop it. And stop means stop. Or if it's a test feedback to test your strength, to test your resolve, to test your optimism level, your level of your character, then that means, hey, try harder. You are getting a negative result, but try harder. You can do better than that. So we can also use some of those feedback, some of those system or those strategy we use for neutral feedback on the negative one. So I say stop. It's telling you indirectly to try harder. The feedback is saying, okay, you are getting is try harder. You are marketing, you want to market people to subscribe to your service, to buy your product, and then you talk to one person, the first person says, I'm not interested. The next person says, I'm not interested. That doesn't mean you should stop selling. That doesn't mean you should. The point is that you still continue to try harder. You have to still continue to try to prospect more people, because that is the way the sales field works. The fact that you talk to the first person, and even if the first person buys what you are saying, doesn't mean that, yes, that's the next person is going to buy, and then the next person, no. So if the first person avoids you or gives you a negative vibe, you still talk to another person, and then to another person, and then to another person. You have to continue talking, continue reaching out until you are able to break even and then get someone that is willing to buy or willing to subscribe to the product or service. So you have to try harder. And if you've been trying to talk to them and they are giving you the cold shoulder, that means, okay, you can also try another way. Why not just start by singing, for instance? Start by singing, or instead of, when you sing, it's different from talking. I mean, you come from a very creative perspective, and then you are singing and person, well, what is this person singing about? And then you now use that to present your pitch to them. Maybe they will be much more willing to listen to you. And you see, if you study some of these sales promo and all that, if it's particularly the ones on the street, they will be doing one form of spectacle or the other that will draw people. Very spectacle that will draw people to come and see what is going on here. And when they come, when people are engaged, then you now start to pitch what you want to sell to them. That is a strategy, and which is more effective than God's going to talk to A and B and C and D about what you want to do. Because when you have to talk to A and B, C, D, you'll be dissipating energy, you'll be using more people. But by that spectacle that you invest so much effort, time, and money in, you draw a crowd to yourself. You draw a crowd, even though the crowd may not be all the people you need that you want to pitch to, but at least you have all sorts coming. So you've used creativity to pull more people to your cause, and then you can now pitch your pitch. You can now pitch your sales to them, or your product to them, or the solution you want to sell to them. So try another way. Be creative. When you are getting feedback, don't fix it on one method, on one approach. It doesn't show that the person is thinking. You can't fix it on one approach. Try something else. If you've been trying to approach the issue from angle south, why not try angle north and see if that will get you the kind of attention you need, the kind of reaction you actually desire. And then try something else. If the feedback you are getting is negative, try something else. Explore another way, explore another means to do it. Try something else. If you've been using paper, why not use email? And if email is not working, use bulk SMS. Just look for something else to do. And if after you are not getting the kind of result, you should move on. You have to learn to move on. If the result is not, but except you are sure that that is where you are sure that you are meant to actually get success in that area, then you should continue, because we all hear the story of Thomas Edison, who got a breakthrough finally on the incandescent light after over 1,000 attempts. Every attempt he got failed. He tried at experiment 1, failed, experiment 2, failed, experiment 3, failed, experiment 4, failed. And then he did not stop. He kept trying, he kept experimenting, he kept using different means until he got what he wanted. And then that's thanks to that we can all have this light to use today. So you have to know if this experiment, this feedback you are getting is actually a test, and that's what we discussed at last time. Is it a test feedback to test your resolve, or is it an actual feedback that just tell you, hey, guy, move on, stop it and move on? So we have to know how do we know the kind of feedback that it is, so that we can pattern our approach to it. And so in wrapping up, it's going to be a very short session today. In wrapping up what we've said, feedback comes to you as a form, as a kind of reaction to prompt personal improvement. Feedback calls for personal improvement. It says, okay, you need to improve yourself. You need to improve your offering. You need to improve your communication. You need to improve your dressing. You need to improve your mannerism. You need to improve your attitude. You need to improve the way you speak. You need to improve the way you interact. It comes in different ways. You need to improve the way you work. So feedback comes to us asking these questions. You can also say you need to improve your process. It can be, it can be something saying that, hey, you need to improve the way you have been doing this. Try it from another perspective, try from another angle, another orientation, and choose another approach. And it can also be, okay, we need to have better outcomes next time. We need so that you can work towards achieving better outcomes. So that means you need to do more and explore another way so that you can boost your chances of getting better outcomes next time, because now you've tried this, you didn't get what you want, and then you are trying again so that the kind of result you get the next time you attempt it, the next time you try it will be better. And it can also be coming for you to say, okay, man, this thing you are doing is not enough. You need to scale your effort. You need to scale it. You need to grow it. You need to do more of it. You need to do more. What you are doing is not enough. You want to make £1 million, $1 million, £1 million, and then you are investing £1, and you are hoping that £1 will yield you £1 million. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So that means, hey, you want to get this much, you should do that much. So when feedback comes to us, that's where it's coming that, okay, yeah, you need to, for you to get that much, the kind of result you desire, then that means you need to put that much input, that much investment into it. Invest £1 million kind of attention, £1 million kind of skill, £1 million kind of effort into it before you can get £1 million in output. So your output should essentially match the kind of, so your input should essentially match the kind of output you are desiring, that you are aiming for. And then you need to, it's saying that, okay, whatever you're doing, you need to continue to do it. And you need to repeat it. You need to continue. You need to continue. And you need to repetition that don't stop. Okay, you are doing it. Yeah, you have not done enough. You need to continue. Don't stop. You need to repeat it. Repeat that effort. Repeat that gimmick. Repeat that thing you are doing so that you can get the kind of result that you desire. And feedback will just be coming and telling you, stop what you are doing. Stop. Don't even move or not even try it again. So you are the one that will know that this is the kind of feedback that I'm getting. And then we'll now use the resources that we've shared today, your own intuition, your own knowledge about yourself, to approach it the way you should. And there's an iterative process here that will, in terms of helping you to improve, how to use the feedback to improve your game and then to enhance your result. And I just have this designed. And so the first thing is starting from the area of needs assessment. Let me see this too. How to be able to. Anyway, we start from needs assessment. When you have feedback, when the feedback you've gotten, you want to be able to, to turn it to a system that will help you to improve your game, that will help you to enhance the result, then you've got to do a moment of reflection to know what are the needs. You need to do what they call needs assessment. Needs assessment. What do I need from this feedback to turn it to help me to improve my game, to improve my results, to improve my earning, to improve my influence, to increase my influence, whatever it is that you desire, and you've gotten the feedback on, and you want to now turn that to a system of success for you, then you've got to start from needs assessment. What are the things that are needed, that need to be done? What are the things that need to be done? What are the areas I need to cover? What needs to be done based on my desire and the feedback I'm getting? So when you have your needs assessment done, then you have to now have a form of strategy. How? When you know the what of what you're supposed to do, then you now know how do you need to do them. But as I always say, what precedes how? What or who usually precedes how. So what do I need to do? And once you've known those, then the next thing is how do you need to do them? So, and that is speaking to strategy. That is speaking to strategy. What do I need to do then? The next thing is how do I need to do what I have identified as the needs, as things that need to be done. Then once you now have a strategy in place, how you are going to go about it, then the next thing is to plan for the resource. What are the things I would need in implementing my strategy? What are the things I will need to make my effort come through? What do I need to move from point A to point B, and then from point B to point C, from point C to point D? You need to know what are the resources: human resources, material resources, financial resources, all the resources that are needed, social capital. You need to know what are the resources that I need to get my strategy off ground and working. And then once you've known those, then how do you acquire them? How do you acquire those resources? Where are you going to get them? Do you need to buy some? Do you need to rent? Do you need to borrow some? Do you need to even beg for some? I mean, those that, okay, maybe these ones, I don't have to buy these ones. I can beg somebody to give them to me. I can borrow from somebody. Am I begging the resources? Am I borrowing? Am I buying? I mean, you need to know how you are acquiring those things, those resources. And then once you've known how you're going to go about acquiring the resources you need, then what are the partnerships that you need? Who are the people you need to work with? Who are the company? Who are those that should make up your company? Company means your friend, your associates, your colleagues. Who should you mix with? Who has a certain skill that you do not have that you need to talk to come on board? Whether you are asking them to help you do it for free, or you're asking them to help you do it for a fee. You are paying them, or I mean, you are partnering with them. Okay, when we make this thing, we split the profit. So you need to know who are the partnerships you need. Who should be on your board? Who should be in your company? And company is no, I'm not saying enterprise, I'm saying company, the company you keep. So once you've known the resources you need, you also need to know what are the partnerships you need to form, what are the alliances, what are the friendships, the relationships that you need to be able to approach your goal or target your aim. And then once you've had that in place, then you should be talking of implementation. You've had your strategy, you've acquired the resources that you need, you have the right people on board, then let's start to work. Let's get to work. Let's get to start doing something, doing what we need to do based on the feedback, based on the needs you've assessed, based on the strategy you have in place. Let's get working. Let's get working. Then you start to implement that work plan. You start to implement that strategy that you developed. Start to implement those to-dos, those tasks that you have listed. You have to start doing them. And then after doing them, you also have to do evaluation. You need to evaluate. Evaluation is in two ways. You can be talking of doing process evaluation. Now, I've had my strategy in place. I've have my resources and all that. I'm supposed to do this thing this way. I'm supposed to do it morning, night, evening. Then when you now need to, and when you've started doing it, you need to now evaluate, am I doing it based on the processes that I have identified or have changed? Am I now doing instead of morning, night, evening? Am I now doing morning and night? Or am I just doing morning and afternoon? You need to evaluate your process. Because most failures is not just the failure of outcome, it's failure of process. If you have, you are supposed to do something 3 times or 5 times, and you are doing it 2 times, you are doing it 4 times, and it's not getting you the result, you should be able to know, okay, why is it wrong? And this evaluation will give you feedback, because we are talking about feedback. So when you need to evaluate your process, is my process up to the T? Is it really, is it as I have earmarked that I'm going to approach it? So you need to evaluate your process, then you should also evaluate your outcome. If after your process, the process you have deployed is okay, there's nothing wrong with your process is fine, you have fidelity of process. That means you stay faithful to all the processes you're supposed to do. You do it the 5 times you're supposed to do it in a day or in a week. And you are still not getting it. So check the outcome. So is the outcome what I have anticipated or is not? So you need to evaluate your outcome. The kind of result I got, is it the kind of result I had anticipated I will get? So if your outcome is giving you something else, that means that's a feedback. You need to now go through this process again. You need to now do, what are the feedback I got? Is it negative? Is it positive? Is it then you need to know how do I now start to improve that feedback? So from your process, you will get feedback. From your outcome evaluation, you get feedback. So when you get feedback based on your process, run through this iteration again. If you get feedback based on your outcome evaluation, run through this iteration again and go over the cycle until you start. And the more you do it, the better you become. And then, the finer your work output we get, because you are now approaching work from a design thinking, a design mindset. You're not just approaching work just the way any other person does work. You're approaching it from a systematic perspective. You have your even though you may not even write elaborate, but you have a map that is guiding your action, that is guiding your moves, and you are following it faithfully. So you have to, this is how you use an iterative process to improve your game and then to enhance your results based on the feedback that life has given you, based on the feedback that you have gotten. Oh no, I think there's a mistake here. Sorry. The next topic we are going to be looking at is not, this is not the next topic. Okay, I think I must have used it on another slide. I deleted that when I copied it somewhere else. I think the next topic we'll be looking at come next month is why you suffer in the midst of plenty. Why do you suffer in the midst of plenty? I'm sure some of us, if not all of us, we've had to, think about, hey, there's so much abundance around me. I know somebody that is rich, that is this and all that, yet I am suffering, yet I'm not getting the kind of, so why do you suffer in the midst of plenty? That's going to be the next topic we'll be looking at on Thrive, and I think that's going to be I think on the 27th of May, if I get if I get the thanks, Mary, if I get the date right, but I will still look for it. I know I had worked on it, but maybe I put it on another slide instead of this particular one. So we have a community for those who are joining for the first time or those who have been joining and We have a community of drivers where some of the things I've also written down. My thoughts, my meditation are being shared on a daily basis. Some of them I share them on my own status, but I'm not always that consistent with it. But at least maybe consistently manages that forum by dropping the codes and other updates there. So, you're invited to join us there. The short link to that is the one highlighted in blue. That's bit.ly, https://bit.ly/drivers. But the longer WhatsApp, whatever is this code that you can see underneath. So, for some editions now, we've been giving this take home. I don't know how many of us actually do those take home when we advise them. But the take home from this session is that you should take more time to examine and write the feedback that life has been giving you in a particular area or some aspect of your life. Take some more time. The last time you take time to write out the feedback, and then you should identify, are they test feedback or their actual feedback? But this time around, we are saying take time to examine and write them out. And then using the framework that we discussed earlier, framework needs assessment, strategy, resource planning, resource acquisition, partnerships, implementation, and evaluation. Those 7 steps, use those 7 steps to draw up an action plan on what you need to do based on that feedback that you've been getting. Use that framework that we discussed let me see if I can go back to it, to actually determine how do you make a success system